like one of your other co-hosts just mentioned, it is a distraction for a lot of people, and we mentioned gay marriage a second ago. That you give the gays gay marriage, and then they'll shut up, and you can say, oh, I gave you gay marriage, now shut up and leave me alone. They're going to tell us, I gave you medical marijuana, now why do you have to have it for recreational purposes too? Shut up and leave me alone. I don't want that. I want it for everybody. Everybody should have that access. You shouldn't have to have a card for it. That's absurd. But
I'm still curious when we started letting the government fucking dictate and tell us what to do. I mean, I was always raised under a belief, and maybe I'm wrong, and maybe I've had the blinders over my eyes for so long, but there was a time when I know my parents and my parents' believed that we had the power to make a difference and a change in the laws that we didn't agree with, in the prevention of laws being put into order that we don't agree with, and basically it's gotten so askew from what the traditional or what America was supposed to be, what I grew up knowing, how a bill was passed. The old song, I'm just a bill on Capitol Hill. That shit don't apply no more.
Especially like the kids now, and they laugh in your face and go, "That's not how it's done."
Right?
It's a lobbyist.
Right, exactly. You don't see any politician second, lobbyist second politician dick or nothing.
Derwin, did you have a thought on that? I saw your little box beep for a second on Skype.
Oh, I was just agreeing, and I said yeah, but I think that if we had a vote tomorrow, or not tomorrow, we had a vote like in 2 months for the whole nation. We tell everybody, we make sure everybody knows. We would have voter turnout at an all-time high. We would legalize marijuana in one 24-hour voting session.
Well, I tell you what, did you see what happened in Maine yesterday?
In where?
In Maine, Portland, Maine.
Yes, I saw.
Oh no, I didn't.
What happened?
A 70% vote. 70% of the population of Maine voted for recreational use of marijuana.
Wow.
East Coast city on the whole entire eastern seaboard to legalize the recreational use of marijuana.
They're allowed to carry on their person 2.5 ounces at a time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Wow.
And the voters passed it. It was a 70%. That's fucking insane. You don't hear that on the fucking news. They don't talk about that shit.
Well, what subject matter even gets 70%? I mean, think about it.
What politician doesn't want to run with this? What politician doesn't want to legalize marijuana to win a vote? I mean, I could stand up tomorrow and go, I'm going to run for president, and if you let me, I'm going to legalize marijuana. I'd probably be voted in.
What were the numbers we kept hearing in Utah?
Wait, say now, Derwin just said something. He said Obama said the same thing.
Right?
Yeah, Obama said
I ever heard
and he crapped on our face.
And he crapped on our face. See, I mean, like that's, I mean, you guys asked me, like, well, how did you take the Obama Kool-Aid? How did you vote for Obama? Because he was pro-marijuana. We were sold on that.
See, here's my issue with this. Who told you that? Because
He did. The press was all over it that way, and they marketed us. I remember when I was on the other one, not Facebook, the one that MySpace. When I was on MySpace, I was specifically asked to join the Obama Al Gore ticket, because originally it was going to be Al Gore running for president and Obama running for vice president. And and my profile pic was me dressed up like the Statue of Liberty with the marijuana leaf on my breast. And I was like, why would they ask me? And then I looked through who they were looking at, and there were a lot of marijuana people on there. And I was like, wonder what's up with this. Well, there was all those videos and how he felt that it should be decriminalized. I mean, my friend Lynette Shaw went, and I was talking about her dispensary being like gone after by the IRS. She actually was invited to an Obama party as being part of the special guests to come out. And she talked to Obama's sister that apparently was like very, very nice. And she says, oh, and so what do you do? And Lynette said, I run a medical marijuana dispensary. And his sister says, that must help a lot of sick people. And she said, and she goes, and Lynette said, yes, it does. She goes, but you know what? I'm afraid because I have feds sitting outside of my property watching me like a hawk, and they're over my dispensary, and I live in fear of this all the time. And like his sister, Obama's sister, said when he gets elected, I'll make sure that those men leave the front of your house. And when he became president, they were gone.
His brother is also Malik Obama, who's pretty much a terrorist. So my whole point is my question again, and I'm asking, when did you ever hear Barack Obama in front of a podium, in front of a camera, in front of anybody?
Well, what we did hear him say was they YouTube, maybe we didn't hear it like in his campaign, but YouTube like showed, there was a YouTube video of him talking a few years earlier about how he felt that it needed to be decriminalized and that there was no reason why it needed to be in the jail system, and there were too many people serving time for marijuana basically. And so we thought he was the great hope. We thought that, I swear to God, that went around, it affected us. And the picture, they had the picture of him smoking pot, and you could go to the Agape Spiritual Center, see paintings of him with the Rastafarian colors behind his head. We licked that piece of acid and like believed it.
Any of you guys do any research on?
No, we didn't. You have to realize this was 2008. Okay, we were not as knowledgeable, we were not as awakened. I'm not the only person that fell for that. The marijuana community fell for that.
A lot of people felt this media blitz, but Obama never said it or promised it, and they want to blame him for it. And I'm saying,
no, but let me tell you something. I'll be right back. We have to take a commercial break, but I also have another. They did do stuff. They did do stuff to protect marijuana laws, and then they took it away 2 years later. And we'll come back to that right after the break.
now we're jamming. Now we've got it going. You feel it? The energy going on. What's it, Terry?
What?
You feel the energy? You feel the blood pumping a little bit?
Right. But I also want to spend some time also talking to our guest a little bit. I want to play one of his videos now. I want to let's arc it up and back down again, and then back up again.
All right, we can do that.
Okay.
Oh, I love it though. I love you guys. Your chemistry is wonderful though.
Oh.
I think you guys run a great radio show.
Oh, thank you. Well, yeah, it's thanks. Yeah, we work well together.
That was fun. That was jamming right there.
Yeah, it was. It was hot.
Yeah, that got people. If they weren't listening, they are now.
Yeah.
For real.
But this conversation, I think a lot of people are talking about it.
Wonderful induction growth.
Agreed.
Yeah. At least I can admit my mistake.
Well, no, a lot of people
some people are still holding on to it.
Obama for it, and my whole point is I didn't even know who this guy was, let alone I never once thought he was going to legalize or change. Here's my thing. If you were the first black president, would you want to go down as the guy who legalized marijuana?
He was a senator for Chicago.
Off your ass to Chicago. 3-ounce bottles. Why did we imagine him to say that?
You'd expect him to be able to fix these plates and hold your friendly chicken wings with barbecue sauce.
Why would we expect him? I just thought it was so he could be the Urkel or the white, black guy, but, on his last day in office, like you said, like, make a bill that says all marijuana is legal and all beer gets sold in 40 ounces.
Well, my friend and I wanted to do a sketch, DJ Kuti. I should bring this up, that marijuana runs for president, it would win. And we were going to do this, whole thing where marijuana is running for president as a sketch.
Yeah, when I was talking about if I ran for president tomorrow saying I'm going to legalize pot, I'd probably win. You probably could have said you'd lose the marijuana.
I'm gonna re-say that on the air. Yeah. Because it kind of.
And it's true. If everybody would just write in marijuana, we'd have the first non-human.
You would walk up there and go, "My name marijuana." Oh, that's hilarious. Sorry.
I love the fact that they blame it on the Mexicans. They said the Mexicans brought over the border. That was all
melon.
Well, because I go, yeah, that's my familia. That's my family. I mean, because I'm half, so I'm like, oh yeah, of course he brought it over.
This was all J. Edgar Hoover, and I think his name was Andrew Mellon, who he made the Secretary of Treasury, who also was DuPont's primary investor. Little catch-22. Sound familiar with Dick Cheney and Halliburton? Just a little bit.
Sure. Sure. I mean, that's the whole connection. That's the kernel right there. I mean, that's,
this guy actually appointed his nephew-in-law, who was Harry J. Anslinger, to be the head of all these other, like, drug enforcement, of the new forms of
right. We need to talk about this. I'd like to talk about this.
And that's how hemp became illegal. Because DuPont was pushing all their investors into doing this weird chemical process that made plastics, anything plastic, Kevlar, I mean, you name it, all these different things. And they looked at hemp as the one thing that could take them down.
Okay, so what would probably be really good, like after we come back to the break, is since Durward brought it up about the Illuminati connection, and we've already gone in that direction. Let's talk about what we think happened and what players are playing in it and making it illegal, and like what we're talking about right now. And we're back with Hollywood Hemptress Hour on the Time for Hemp Network. You're listening to iHeartRadio, and in studio I have Kevin Korn from Hardcorn Entertainment and North Blatt Forsgren from Trips, and we're all from Trips, So welcome back to the show, and also my guest from the Global Illumination Council, Derwin Sherwood. Welcome back.
Hey, I did want to mention one thing before we get started here. When I found this out, it really boiled my blood. That there's two different situations. The first is that they're constantly stopping CIA-related planes and CIA-related shipments all the time over American airspace and Mexican airspace, especially those two countries, but all around the world. American CIA planes are being stopped by other countries or this and that and the other. They refuse to be searched or they refuse this and that and the other. When they do search them, they find on a regular basis, they find massive amounts of cocaine, massive amounts of opiates, massive amounts of all different types of drugs that the CIA is moving around, that they're just kind of making their own profits on it. There's always another story about another CIA plane that was brought down for inspection, and then they say, whoa, wait a minute, we found 5 bajillion kilos of cocaine in here. What the hell are you guys doing? When I found out that our troops were over in Afghanistan and Iraq, guarding the poppy fields to make opiates from, I was like, wait a minute, what the hell? It's not even about oil anymore. I thought this was about, first it was about the Twin Towers, then it was about oil. Now they're over here protecting poppy fields that Saddam Hussein wouldn't let them grow.
Yeah.
What's going on here, This is obvious to me that, the U.S. military, the U.S. government is probably making a bunch of their budget on illegal drug sales.
Yes.
How much we're spending trillions of dollars on war every year. Where's all this money coming from? It's not coming from the average taxpayer. So maybe it's coming. They say that a lot of the war budget comes from corporate taxes, but you can't. No, they are pushing this stuff illegally, and we're saying, oh well, if you legalize it, you can have a 7%, 10% sales tax on it. No, they've already got it on the DL. You know, they're pushing it behind the scenes to all the little kids on the schoolyard. CIA is pushing it to the little kids on the schoolyard, and they're making their big bucks that way. They don't need the little 10% rinky-dink that they can make on taxes. They're selling it to the masses behind the scenes and making so much money.
The year before we invaded Afghanistan, the Taliban had completely eliminated the production of opium by basically beheading any farmer that grew it. All right. Now
I remember my dad telling me that in 2001.
Yeah, I'm not agreeing with their tactics, but I know that the year later, when the Americans came in and took control of all the poppy fields, production raised by 300% from what it was 5 years prior at the height of their fucking opium production. Now, from that time, I'm a big movie buff. I watch a lot of movies, a lot of TV. Oh, not a lot of TV, but a lot of movies. And I've seen so much heroin use, nonchalant, recreational heroin use in movies that is insane. I mean, there was always a stigma when I grew up with heroin about it being a dirty drug or just that. It was one of those that you stayed away from. But it almost seems like it's the.
All right, did we lose Northblatt? Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Oh, anyway, it cut out. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Are we all here? Is Kevin here?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Is Derwin here?
Yep.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry. For some reason, it just cut out for a minute. All right. I'm sorry. Please continue, Northblatt.
So anyway, I've just noticed an increase in the use of heroin in the last 10 years, 10, 15 years, and an increase in the social, the kind of the release of the social stigma that heroin always kind of held on to. And I think that has a lot to do with the war, both the war on drugs and the war on terrorism.
Well, I kind of have a different view on it. Obviously, I mean, from my background, I don't believe that it's the CIA that's pushing it onto little kids as well as the CIA is bringing it into the country. Yes, they're definitely not the ones standing at the schoolyard and selling it to kids.
No, but they are desensitizing the American
Oh, they definitely are. Oh, yeah. Believe me, I know the ones who put it on the street. I understand that completely. But my whole thing is I just read an article today that came out in Forbes, in this week's article of Forbes, and it was on crack and methamphetamines and everything you've been told about them being not true. And it was basically like all these scientific facts about it doesn't cause. They're like funny how they claim methamphetamines causes tooth decay, violent behavior, yada yada yada. Yet Adderall, methylene, and all these other drugs are the exact same chemical compounds don't. And they go through and I'm like, and the whole thing was it was full of great information. But what weirded me out the most was why is this article in Forbes? Who are they looking for are you looking for an investor? I mean, who's reading Forbes? Is crack and methamphetamines looking for investors right now?
Well, how many mayors and public officials have gotten caught smoking crack now?
The Toronto mayor just got busted for smoking crack, and he's still there.
Right? He plans on fucking running. Why? Because he doesn't think it's gonna affect his popularity with the voters.
Do you know what? We have just only about 5 more minutes for the first hour, and our guest is going to have to leave us here in a moment. And I do want to play one of his MP3s. It's kind of interesting. It's a different take. It's about population control. And Derwin, can you kind of maybe just set it's based on the facts of a certain man. Is his name Kevin Yoder?
Yes, he's a real good friend of mine on the GIC. He started about voluntary population control probably about a year ago, and I just was like, well, why don't I make a video for you, man? Because I really like what you're talking about. And, I really believe that we could feed 7 billion people in this world. We have enough arable land for 7 billion people in this world for sure. But the problem is we don't. We waste so much here in America, and on top of that, what are we going to do? We've got trillions of dollars going to blow up the Middle East right now. They're not going to take those dollars and spend it on babies that are dying over in Africa. So what do we need to do? We need to be teaching these people in Africa how to put a condom on. We need to be teaching ourselves here in America how to put a damn condom on, because there are children in orphanages right now who need families, and we're just sitting here producing more babies. And so this is the video that I put together on my YouTube channel, kind of in honor of Kevin, because he really helped me push that agenda a little bit on the GIC.
Okay, all right. So let's go ahead and take a listen to it. Here it comes. It's gonna happen.
Almost there.
Almost there.
From 1750 to 1900, the global population doubled in just 150 years, from 7.9 million to 1.6 billion people. From there, we can approximate 3.3 billion by 1975, just 75 years later, half the original time. By 1999, we were at 5.9 billion. We are now at a doubling population rate of every 25 years. If we repeat the pattern, by 2050, we'll reach 50 billion, and we'll reach over 100 billion by the year 2100. How many of us have grandchildren alive then? Heaven on earth revolves around numbers and evolution. Food for thought. There are 7 billion acres of land on the planet, and with only 7 billion people, that makes a perfect condition. Now hey, let's just maintain 7 billion. And that's actually quite simple. We just have to be responsible as a human race. Sex is great, but let's be sensible. Unless we're planning on having a child, let's not get pregnant. There's so much birth control out there for men and women that there should be no reason we have such a problem with overpopulation. If each couple committed to one planned pregnancy, then we can adopt for the rest of our children. I have 2 adopted children and 2 biological children, and I promise you, I love them all the same. But it has to be voluntary, not forced, and global, or it will not work. Let's not get married until we're truly ready, and let's not make babies without planning for it. From 2014 to 2114 would be approximately 5 generations, or the entire planet. If we went with this plan, then our total population would be drastically reduced to just a few 100,000 in the final generation. Now there could be some fine-tuning to the previous ideas, but the main point is that we would no longer need to slave for the necessities in life. Children are starving to death every few seconds on this planet, which is totally uncalled for. With the previous formula, there will never be another hungry child again. Not one. We just need to start working at this as a team. And to each their own as far as spirituality goes. The light workers and indigos of today are Mother Nature's cry for help. Please awaken. Heaven doesn't need to be some imaginary place. It could be right here under our feet. Heaven on earth. Here. Today. Now. Blessings and love.
Great. Thank you. Derwin, I know, I love it. I mean, Derwin, thank you for being on the show. And also, is there any websites that you would like to plug tonight? I know that you have a YouTube channel.
Yeah, I always like to plug the GIC.org, and my YouTube channel, people can just Google Derwin Sherwood, or YouTube search Derwin Sherwood, or Google it, honestly. I'm not on Facebook, really, so that's where people can find me. You Google Derwin Sherwood, you're going to get my YouTube channel. And I haven't put enough